Hi, welcome to Teachers Tech. My name is Jamie and it's great to have you here. Today I want to show you how to use the new Microsoft Teams. If you haven't tried this out yet, you're going to find that the new experience in Microsoft Teams is going to be faster, simpler, smarter, and more flexible than ever. So we're going to go through starting at a beginner's level and show you how everything works in Microsoft Teams today on Teachers Tech. If you've never used Microsoft Teams before, here's a quick explanation before we start today's tutorial. A team like this gets created. It could be by somebody else in the organization or by you. People get added to that team, and then you can have conversations that you can go back at any time and see what's happening. Now, the great thing is you can quickly drop files inside this or even create files that are going to get stored within this team, and everybody can collaborate together on those files to really get productive. To keep the productivity up, you can go ahead and even schedule meetings that everybody will get notified, and in a quick link you can join by video conferencing inside Microsoft Teams. So these are some of the things I want to cover today on how to use Microsoft Teams. You can access Microsoft Teams, whether it be online through a browser, or you can download the app on your computer. I'll put a link to this page down below in the description so you can make sure you have the newest version of Microsoft Teams. Notice that there's the home and the work or school. I'm going to be using the work one here today as I go through this tutorial. Now, the other thing I just want to point out is that your IT admin would have to turn on to be able to use the new Microsoft Teams. Now, I could quickly access the online version of Teams just by typing teams.microsoft.com, and then it's going to get me to log in. If you're logged into your Microsoft 365 account, you can quickly access it just like all the other apps. So I have Microsoft Teams right here. I'll open this up, and the experience is very similar to using the app, but I would still recommend using the app if you have that available. It stays updated with all the newest features, and I find it works a bit faster. So I'm going to be switching over to the app and opening it up on my PC. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and open up my Microsoft Teams, the new Microsoft Teams on my desktop here. I'm going to go to my search, and I already have it in the recent, but if you don't, you can start typing Teams and it comes up. Notice that there's different ones on here. So there's work or school or the personal one, and there's the one that says new. That's the one that I want because I have both installed on my computer still. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the new app here. At this point, I'm going to choose one of my demo accounts for the work one that I'm showing here today, and then it will log in to that account. Now that I'm logged in, I have access to the team that I've been added to and can see all the conversation. I'm going to go up here first just to show you how you can manage your account. So if I click on this, this is where I can sign out. I can even add different accounts here. So if I wanted to add a different account that I wanted to switch back and forth, I can do that. This one's indicated as a personal account, so it's not connected to a school or work one here that I'm logged into. So that's why you see that little icon coming up. Now let's go ahead and just start with the basics of Microsoft Teams. Let's move over to the left to the navigation bar. And throughout this tutorial, I'm going to be going through all the different parts here, but we're going to start on Teams. So this is where you see the teams that you're going to be part of, or we're going to create a new team from this tab right here. Now, before I go ahead and create a new team, I just want to show you what we're looking at. So this team I've been added to by somebody else here. So it's called the Pooch House Spa. Underneath are different channels. Now, if I click General, this has been the conversation right here under the General, and I can take a look at the files that would belong in here. So I can see the dog's PowerPoint is here. If I switch over to a different channel, so this could be more specific and maybe have different people working within here that they can go to, everything's going to be sorted within the channel. So I have a conversation happening in here now. If I check out the files, I don't see all the files that was in the general. I just see the one in learning. So I have a couple different channels still here that I haven't used yet. So we're going to go ahead and create a brand new teams, and then we're going to have channels underneath that. To create a brand new team, go up top here. Notice that we have the option of join or create a team. Select this. If we were going to join a team, if there was a code, we could go through that way. In this example, we're going to create a brand new team, then add people to this. So select create a team. Notice on the left here, we have some options. I'm under the templates, and these are all templates, which I am going to start from in a moment. But if you already had a team laid out a certain way, you could actually copy that setup to start from again, or you could go from a group. So we're going to go from template. I could start from scratch, but what I want to do is take advantage of a template because it's going to create the channels for me automatically underneath, but I can still modify everything. So let's say we have an events fundraiser for pets, and I'm going to go and say this is an event. We're going to choose this one. Now, when it comes to this part right here, it shows me the 7 different channels that are going to get created under this team. Now, these can be modified as well. It's also going to put in 9 apps that they think that will work well with this type of team. This can be modified later as well. I'm going to say use this template. Do I want this to be private or public? With private, people need permission to join. Public, anyone can join in your organization. If I sent them the link, then they would be able to join if they were able to see that link. I'm going to choose public in this case. What is the team name? Well, I'm going to call this Pause for Cause here. So is there a description I want from this? Well, let's keep this fairly simple, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste this one, a fundraising furry tale. Now take a look at customized channels. Do we want all 7 of these? Do I want to change the name of any of these? I could do that now, but I can also do that later. For this, I'm just going to go ahead and hit done. And I'm going to go ahead and hit create. So this goes ahead and creates the team. And sometimes if it has a lot of channels, it takes a few moments to do this before all the channels are listed underneath your main channel or team. If I go back to the navigation bar, make sure I have team selected. Here is my Pause for Cause team that I just created. Let's go and expand this. All the channels, I don't see them. Notice that there's see all channels here. I have the general channel. But if I expand this, I have hidden channels. And this was part of the template, but we can do this at any time. If you want to show or hide, if I hover over any of these, if I want this to show, I just hover over and select show. Now it's going to be seen. So if I go back a step, so notice that the back is up here. This announcements is seen, and I have the hidden ones under here. If I go see all, I could also pin. So pin allows me to move things, channels to the top as well. So if I hit pin, this will move it to under top here. So now those 3 will show, but I can always go back and unpin if I wanted to, and then select hide, and it moves it back down. The other thing I want to point out, whenever you see the ellipses, you have more options. So if I select that, we could go ahead and delete the channel if we don't want this anymore, but we can also edit the channel, and this is where we can change our names as well. Now, if I go back one more level, I want to add people to this. So if I go here, notice I can add members because right now it's just me in here. So I could go ahead and add people to this by selecting it and start typing their name. So depending if you had groups set up or not. But if I go ahead and start typing Jamie, there's that one, and I could add Kathy, and I could go through and add more people. I could choose if they want to be an owner or member. I'm going to leave them as member, and I hit add. Once I do this, this will show up in their team. So if they go to teams, they're going to see Pause for Cause under theirs. Now, I can adjust things though, also in the settings, depending what I want. So if we go back and we go to manager team, notice these are the members that just got added, and I can adjust or take them out from here. So I could remove Jamie from here or Kathy, or change that from at this point. Take a look at some of the other settings that we have across the top here. So under channel, we can say what we want to show for members and show for me based on all those different channels that we have. We have settings. This is where I'm going to change the image here. So I just don't want PC for Pause for Cause. Let's change the picture. I'm going to upload this, and I'm just going to choose one of these pictures. So we'll choose this dog here, hit open and save. And now if I take a look over, this has been updated here. And then we have other options down below. So we have member permissions, enable channel creation, adding apps and more. So all these different things you can go through. We have analytics. This will allow me to see what people are engaging in. And now I don't have any because I just created this, but it allows you to see how useful this is and where people are interacting. we have apps. So the apps are different ones that I could add to this. So I have a big list here. So if I go over to the ellipses again, we always see our more options. I can remove this, or I could get more apps from here. The last thing what I want to add is tags. So I am actually going to create a tag here because this is great with communicating inside the team, because I can give it a short little thing and use the @ So I'm going to go create. What's the tag name? Well, this is just going to be called pet. And I'm not going to bother put a description in here. I'm going to add the people. So who is this going to be? And if I had more people in here, this would make a little bit more sense, but we'll just do an example here. And I'm going to go hit create. And inside the team, this is going to actually, in the general announcements, this is going to be there indicating to people if they use this tag that they'll be able to communicate with that group. So if I go now to just over here to our pause for cause and just select my general, now you can see this has been put here saying that a tag was created. I can just use the @ and use pet, and then a message will go out to everybody that's put into that tag. The other thing I want to point out is if I go back to this, if I want to share this link out, so if I get the link to this team and since this is public, I could send that link, copy it, and send it in an email or something and share it. And they could click on it and join this team because it is just a public one. I didn't make this a private one, and then they could join for it. So I'd have more people helping with this fundraising. Let's go ahead and start with the post to see all the different ways we can communicate inside our team. So look at this. I have two different Microsoft Teams accounts. I have the Jamie one here and then Ashton's over here. If I go ahead and look at my activity, I notice Ashton added me to pause for cause. So if I go to my Teams, I have access it. I can access it right here and see the exact same thing. Now, if Ashton was going to go ahead and start a post, I could go ahead and start a post over here. I'm going to go and just type something in. I'll just say hello as a title, and we'll go ahead and post it. And then you can see it pops open on this screen over here. Now, at this point, any of the members could reply to the message. So let's say this person replies. They could have some other options here, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but maybe this is just sending it right back. And then you can see how the thread starts on the conversation here. And if I take a look up at the activity, I can see that this is the activity. So those notifications help there where I can kind of see what's happening with the conversation. Now, if I go back this time and I want to bring attention to somebody, so I'm going to hit reply rather than just having this general to everyone, I can use the @ here and I could start typing in somebody's name. So here's this one, and I'm just going to say hello just to show you. And if I hit enter again or hit send, this time, since I went and put the @ notice how it comes across. I get it, the attention comes to me and I get the @ symbol here, so you can be very direct who this message is aimed at. And we can do this in a few different ways too. If we wanted to make sure it went to the entire team, I could go ahead and start typing pause for cause, and this would send the message. It would get notified like that to everyone. So it comes across this time as pause for cause over there. And then I made that tag as well. So what did I make? Well, I made that @ pet. It's right here, and there's two people in this tag, and that can be modified. So if you have more people coming in, and I'll just type hello one more time and hit enter, and you'll get notified of the @ again. So different ways you can kind of make sure that people are getting your messages and know if they're aimed at them specifically. I want to show you something real quick, and that's with the options up here, more options. If you want to see your post at the top, so if I go ahead and select this, it changes the order. So we're working from the top down now. So depending on what you want. Notice at any time we're communicating, you can go and format your font. So if I go ahead and just select formatting, it opens up. So anything I'm typing in here, I could go through and start making changes to, if I wanted to, from color, I could go and change this if you want something to stand out that way as well. Now, the other thing is to have some fun inside Microsoft Teams, you can use emojis that you have the quick access to that will place these inside, or we could use stickers. And we do have over here some praise that we could add to people if they're doing a great job. Now, what happens if we want to add a file to this? I'm just going to quickly send this message so you can see what's happening in the thread there. The other thing I just want to show you is, and this is in the new Teams, if we go up to the very top here, notice that we can open conversations in a new window. So if I pull this out right here, here is the conversation outside of Teams. So if you wanted to have kind of a different window, you can set this up and you can have this off to the side and you can have this all through here. So I just wanted to point out whether it be on the one point or is it a thread that you would like to pop open and see everything this way to just make sure that you're staying in touch with everything without taking up a lot of room on your computer. So let's say I needed to share a file within this thread or this team. I can go ahead and put reply. I could do my attachment here. And remember, I could aim it as a certain person. So I could use the @ symbol. But let's say it's on my computer. I could go ahead and grab an image. But if I go and say to my desktop here, if I have something on here, we'll say it's a PDF this time. It's a sample form. I'm going to hit open. And here it is. It's uploading. So remember, we're working in a cloud. This has to be moved and be ordered to work together with each other. So it's placing it up. So where is it placing it? If I go up top to files here, so I'm going to click on files, and sometimes it takes a moment. There it is. That form that I just uploaded through the chat automatically gets placed there. Now I could drag into, so if I take a look at this Excel file, I could drag, or in this PDF, I could drag them in right into here and it's uploading these two items. So now I could go back, if I'm back in my post this time and I was going to go and add something else, if I hit reply, I know that Excel spreadsheet is in my Teams here. So I could go and grab it from here and attach it that way and send it. So now both of those files, a PDF and that Excel, are being sent to the team. Now, if I wanted to create a brand new file, what I can do is go to my files up here and notice we can do the upload or drag and drop in, but we have our new, we can organize things with folders. But if I want a Word document this time, I could go ahead and hit Word. What do I want to call this? Well, I'll just call this Steps for Successful Fundraising. I'm going to go ahead and hit Create. And now I have a Word that's starting. So where do I want to open this with? So if I go and look at more actions, I can open this in a different tab, or I can open it right inside Microsoft Teams by going up to Open and Edit in Teams. So this will open up right within. So depending on how you want to work with this, you could be logged into your Microsoft Word app. As long as you're logged in with your account that's matching it, you could go ahead and work from there. You don't have to work online. So at this point, I could go through and add some information to this document, just like this. And let's say I go ahead and close it. Now the team will have access to this and we could all work together at finishing this document, and I could go put it in a post and identify someone specifically maybe to finish it. A key thing to understand about the different channels is it allows you to keep your conversations and your files organized separately. So if I look at the post up here, here's my conversation of the general channel. Here's my files of the general channel. But if I go to my announcements channel, notice there's no post and no files placed in those because they're separated. So this is one of the things that makes it efficient to work with having different channels. But you don't want to overdo your channels. You'll see as you create your teams, you'll get kind of a workflow that works best for you. Let's move up to the top here. As you move across the top, you notice that these are all the apps that got installed when we chose the template that we did. Now, there's 4 more because we don't have enough room to see them all, but these are the ones that we can jump to here. If you notice you're not using any of these, you can remove them from here. It might make it less confusing if a person sees all the tabs and doesn't know what they're being used for, but here we have our remove here. We can open them in a browser, or we can even go to the settings and change it. But do take a look at those and see if you need those. Now, the other things I want to point out is over on the side is maybe you're getting to be in a lot of different teams, you can quickly drag them in different orders if you want to. If I drag this one up the top, I can place that one. So if that's the one I'm always accessing, and you can always hide different ones. So remember, we have our different settings, just like the channels. We can hide a team, and it just this way, it just kind of gives you more room to see the ones that you can focus on. But it's very easy. If you want to unhide, you can go to show and just do that. So just some management of teams here. But let's move over to the left and see all these different things remaining to make sure that you're using Teams to the best possible advantages. So how do we go ahead and start a new meeting? We can do this in a number of different ways. So if I was going to go at any time, if I was just hitting reply, notice that we have meet now. So I could go ahead and start a meeting instantly with my team by just going reply. And then when I do this, I get different options. So there I am here with the camera on. I could turn this on or off at this point. We have our settings that we could go through in making sure our audio and video, we have everything selected that we want. And we have even our effects and avatars that we could select through and just choose which one we want. So after you set everything up, you could hit join now. And this, since it's through the reply that we did, it's going to be right on there. So I could go ahead and add participants if I wanted to. I could copy the meeting link or share via email. I'm just going to close out of this, and I'm going to just move this over to the side. Notice right here that we have the ongoing meeting that's happening. So inside this thread, people would see this ongoing meeting. They could click on it and then just join right in. I could also, if I needed to share my screen, I could go through and share my screen on that point right there, or turn it off and leave the meeting. So as soon as I leave the meeting, just like that, I don't have that live meeting anymore. But I could also go up top here and start meet now, and that will bring me to the same thing, or schedule a meeting, which would be similar to the calendar one that I could schedule that I'll show you in a moment. So taking a look over at our calendar, so it's underneath our teams, this right here, if I was going to pick a time that I wanted to do a new meeting, I could go up top and do new meeting. I could do the meet now, or I could just pick in a spot and I could go and fill things out. So if I was just going to call this fundraiser here, I'll type in this and I could add people to this, just like I usually do with the different people. And I'll just leave it at that information. I'll hit send. Now this will be on Jamie's calendar as well. So we'll know to meet, they'll be notified for that. So using your calendar to set up the meetings, or using the meet now, efficient ways to just get those video conferences started. A different way that we could do this is through our chat. If you didn't want to be inside the team, we can do a chat where we could be talking with each other through messaging, but we can also start a video or phone call through this. So if I was just chatting, here's some recent chats with each, maybe one person, or here's one with Jamie and Kathy. I could go ahead and start a new chat and pick who I wanted to talk to, and then send them a message just like I've shown you before. But we can also go through and go video call or audio call. So we could just be, if we needed to turn from a messaging into a quick talk, we can do that just through there. Now, when we look at all our different sidebar here, if we look at our activity, this is through all the teams that we're connected to, just not the one of the fundraiser one that we created. But if I click on this one, this is in the other team. So this is a place we can see the activity of all the different parts that we're connected to. So you can just go to take a look through there. We showed you the chats, our teams, our calendars. Now, if we go to our files here are everything. So when we looked under each team and then each channel, it was separated out depending on which one we were under. This shows me everything that I have access through here. So home, my files, shared, favorites, all these different ones. And then I have my quick accesses to the individual, here's my pause for cause, the documents here, that then I can go into, these were the folder, these were the files that I uploaded to there. I hope you've enjoyed this new Microsoft Teams beginners tutorial. As it comes out with new upgrades, I'll let you know with new videos. So thanks for watching this week on Teachers Tech. I'll see you next time with more tech tips and tutorials.